Namaste, Jai Bharat. The Rohingyas are a group of people who do not have a place. Originally, they are Bengalis, Bengali Muslims. This must have been that Bengali Muslims they have moved from today's Bangladesh to the Myanmar's Rakhine province. Rakhine province. A group, ethnic group, not really ethnic group, they are Bengali Muslims originally. And if you ask them now which language they speak as mother tongue, they would say our language is Rohingyan. But in fact, I don't think that there is a language like Rohingyan. They speak a version of Bengalis. That's, you see, there's a Bengali that is spoken in Calcutta region, and there's also a Bengali that is spoken in Bangladesh, and this is a Bengali that is spoken in Sylhet area, and the Sylheti Mymensingh Bangla is slightly a variant of the other kind of Bengali spoken. This is normal with any people's mother tongue. At different places, people speak different languages. But Rohingyan, which they say, is a version of Bengali with a mixed Assamese language. Look, they have nothing serious to do with Assam originally, but still. It's something like the Nagamese language, which people speak in Nagaland. See, Nagaland, each tribe, they have their own dialects. These dialects are not developed into language, they don't have literature. But when there are many tribes in Nagaland and each tribe, one tribe does not understand the dialect of the other tribe, so they speak among themselves in a kind of Assamese. They themselves say this is called broken Assamese, but it is like Assamese only, with not really very polished kind of Assamese. It's an unpolished Assamese, raw Assamese. They call it as broken Assamese, and they call it as Nagamese. Now, I understand Assamese, I can speak Assamese to some extent, so it's easy for me to understand which they speak. It's not really very different from the Assamese language. Nagamese is not really very different from Assamese language. You can speak in Assamese, they speak in Nagamese. It's one of the same when it comes to functional reasons. Similarly, the Rohingyans are basically Bengalis. A very simply called as a version of Bengali, though they say it's a mixture of Bengali and Assamese. That's not that serious. So essentially, they are people those who have moved from present Bangladesh. That is before the 1905 division of Bengal into Hindu Bengal and Muslim Bengal. They must have been the Muslims of Bengal. They have moved to the Rakhine province in Burma. That is Myanmar. And Myanmar is predominantly a Buddhist nation, Buddhist country, even then also. Now also, in spite of a lot of missionary activities and conversions. And Rakhine province is a speciality. The kind of Buddhism practiced there is the Theravada Buddhism. Theravada Buddhism is a Theravada Buddhism, which is supposed to be the original Buddhism, which the larger version of Buddhism which came in later which is called as Mahayana, which means larger vehicle. They are called the Theravada Buddhism as a smaller vehicle, and they call it as Hinayana. So Theravada Buddhism actually is the original Buddhism, which is called Theravada, should have become in Pali as or Prakrita as Theravada. They try to follow the more rigid principles of first initial Buddhism, not having idol worship, etc., etc., quite a few things, which is rather difficult for common people. So they liberalized, and then more people got into Buddhism. And even Sri Lanka has got Theravada Buddhism. More people got into Buddhism, and it expanded larger. That's all. There's nothing really serious difference between Theravada and Mahayana. Myanmar is fundamentally a Buddhist nation, with maybe about 95% being Buddhist. And Rakhine state is also a Buddhist nation, but more rigid Theravada Buddhism. And you know the nature of the Buddhists. They are fundamentally, basically, and essentially peace-loving people. They are not aggressive, they are not oppressive, they just live mostly they live in a spiritual kind of life. You see, Buddha himself, Buddha was supposed to be a vegetarian, but he died of cholera. I think at above 80 he died of cholera, and he got cholera by eating rotten pig meat, pork. That is because he is by choice a vegetarian, but they have a system that they have to eat by begging. Piksha, that's what they call as pikshoes. Buddha sannyasis are normally called as pikshoes because they eat by begging. And whatever you get in begging, that food you have to eat. They don't discriminate between whatever is given. Any mother from a house gives whatever, they eat that. That becomes customary on their part. Whereas on the Jains, they are not bhikshus, they are munis. There's a difference. Buddhist monks are normally called as bhikshus because they live by begging. To make the life so humble and so mundane, they do this kind of things, especially with Theravada Buddhism. And Buddha got rotten pig meat, it seems, given by some house mother, knowingly or unknowingly, inadvertently maybe, but then that caused him sickness. His stomach got upset. He died of cholera. That's loose motion. Just look at this: a king, potential king. He was a crown prince. Took to spiritual life and started living through begging, and died of whatever he got because he had to eat. Though a vegetarian, they don't normally eat non-veg. But in begging, whatever you get, that is bhiksha, which you're supposed to eat. Very complicated, very complicated theories, rather impossible for common people. So, they are peace-loving people, basically, Buddhists. So, the Rakhine state, the Theravada Buddhists are peace-loving people, and these Muslims from Bangladesh went and, today's Bangladesh, at that time, divided Bengal, 1905 division, and 1905 and then 1906 they formed the All India Muslim League at the instance of Dhaka Nawab. You see, they went there, and with the normal nature of these refugees. You look at Europe. On the streets of Germany, you will find the marching. On most European nations where they took the refugees, they have law and order problems. Their jails are not sufficient now anymore because of these refugees. Very law-abiding people, very sincere people, very thankful people to the society, and they have one relation with women. I don't want to speak about it. So these Rohingyas started creating problems. Though the migrants who went there started creating problems, then see, beyond a point, even Buddha himself would react most likely. So the Buddhists of the Rakhine state started reacting, and the results of the reaction is the Arakan army today. They started pushing these Rohingyans out. Where will they go? Primarily they go back to Bangladesh because they know they're rooted there. And though they say they speak Rohingya language, this is nothing other than Bangla. Diluted version of Bangla. Maybe with some Assamese mixing also. And Assamese Bengali is not that different to drastically different language. One can understand one another, these two languages. So the Rohingyans are such a characters. They were pushed. Now, in Bharat, we have from 40 to 50,000 of Rohingyans, and I think they move everywhere. They got the fake IDs and fake Aadhaar cards ready. They are agencies. Their own kinds of people who create such fake documents, and they are free and moving around. And wherever they go, they create problems. Not law-abiding people. That's a problem. Indisciplined lot, which creates puckers in society, disturbances in society. Then they become impossible, and the society will have to react. That's precisely has caused the Arakan army. They pushed the Rohingyans this side, that side. They started going all around Bangladesh primarily. Then from there to politicians. They wanted vote bank. Many of them were welcomed here, there, and all kinds of things happened. Now, this Arakan army has occupied the Bangladesh border. Arakans are basically Buddhists, occupied Bangladesh border. They were pushing these Rohingyans out of their Rakhine province. Still they are not gone completely. Just because they were aggressive, the Arakans were only reacting. They were reacting because they couldn't help it, otherwise they will become extinct. Now there are only some 35% of Buddhists in the Rakhine province. Rest they have multiplied. Typically following the blessings, you go and multiply. Yes, they went and multiplied. And these people are only 35%. And few must be converted Christians, rest all of the Rohingyas. So at least when they are in some kind of majority, they would have to react. And Myanmar won't accept these Rohingyas because there is nothing to do with them. They were in the Rakhine states and remained there and flourished. Myanmar won't accept them. And the Arakkans pushed them. They went to Bangladesh and infiltrated. And we in Bharat have got between 40 to 50,000 in Delhi. The politicians, especially the president of the Aam Aadmi Party, facilitated the settlements. They said they are from Bangladesh. You ask them, you ask a Rohingyan, where are you from? Then he is going to say, I am from Assam. It's not really the case. They are not from Assam. Every infiltrator from Bangladesh, and every Rohingyan, if you ask, they will say, we are from Assam. You ask them, if you know the geography of Assam, you can easily ask them which part of Assam. They will only say, we are from Malda or this place. Sometimes Karimganj, which is not likely. They are simply telling. They have no roots in Assam. Absolutely no roots in Assam. If at all they have some, they lived in some places, they are only temporarily staying with somewhere, making makeshift jhugis or small hutments they make in open place, encroachment they live and do some work and live a few days, not a permanent resident. But they managed to get documents because the politicians won their votes, plus because the money was supposed to be vote. So this is a story of Rohingyans. They are here to disturb us, and they moved down to south. Many of them in Kerala. We in Kerala can't understand, identify who is a Bangladeshi Muslim, who is a Rohingyan, who is from which place, and there are also Odias and very few Odias and legitimate Bengalis, Hindu Bengalis, but the vast majority of them are infiltrated Bangladeshi Muslims, and if you ask them, they will all say that we are from Assam. Nobody will say we are from any other place. They all say we are from Assam. And you ask their names, they will never say their original name. They will say Kuku, Raju, Munna. These are the names they are going to say. You ask them, what's your name? They will never disclose their name because it's a Muslim name. They don't want to say it. So they know that they are not unwanted, unaccepted. So they hide their Muslim names. One small instance, a Thelawala who is selling vegetables on the road, in some part, I will not tell which part, of course, this part only where I casually asked him that, what's your name? He said Bablu. The moment he says his name is Bablu, I know it's a lie. Then of course he has a QR card. When I scanned the QR card, it is a Muhammad Khan. They don't want to say the original name. These people must be infiltrators who came from some other place to place, shifting, and then the paddy, the fields, the wheat fields of Delhi, they have occupied. They created settlement, hutments, etc. They started staying there. This is the story of the Rohingyans, the infiltrators. They should be thrown back to Bangladesh because these are Bangladeshis behaving to us and they were thankless. They say, we have not helped them. They have fought and got freedom, isn't it? They didn't have roti to eat those days. For roti, they don't eat, they eat more bhat, means rice. So, now they say, you have done nothing to us. We have got everything. Such people, very funny. Anyway, so this is the story of Rohingyans. They are never legitimate, and just because of the character of indiscipline, you can't accept them. That's a problem. Otherwise, on a human basis, you have no problem anyone coming. Bharat is such a Sanskriti. Anybody coming from anywhere is accepted here. We have no problem, provided you live like human beings. At least some social responsibility, some discipline, some sense of belonging to the society which feeds you. If you have that, you're welcome. But that is not the case with many people who come in and they create disturbances and disturb others, and then all kinds of lawlessness. This is what makes such infiltrators repugnant. So we'll meet again with some other thoughts. Till then, Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram.